Alright, Bruce, I want to get you caught up to where we're at right now in your car. Before we went to going to SEMA, it was just so chaotic here and getting ready and going. I didn't do some of the video I should have been doing just because I've been busy and I've got other cars going and it's a lot. So I want to give you a little update on where I'm at. I have been shooting some videos, so I'm just going to show you what all I have of the videos I had cut. And then I'll show you where we're at right now with the build. It's coming along real good. I'm excited about the classic instrument gauges. I'll show you that in a minute. But I'll show you these videos right now that I shot between getting back to SEMA and to here. Well, now that the SEMA show is over and I'm back at the shop, there was a lot to do yesterday. I got this car unloaded. This car went a little over 3,800 miles that last week without a scratch, and I'm just tickled to death with that. Got it back, got it unloaded. It did great. I actually drove this thing about 70 miles an hour in Vegas, getting to the support truck to carry it over to Bruce's campground so they could drive it around. The owner got to drive it around a little bit before we shipped it back, and then we got it loaded up, and then it did about 28, 29 hours straight all the way back to Tennessee without a scratch. So I'm so glad that we did the whole SEMA thing. We had a ball out there and made it back safely without any incident. So success on the SEMA trip, and it was just a blast. All right, Bruce, now I've got my list made. I'm fixing to get back on your car, but I want to show you my boat engine. This is going in. I've got a 21-foot Interceptor that this is going in. It came out with a 350 in it, and I ran across this 454, and I've totally rebuilt it. 20 over, flat top pistons. I've got a quick fuel carb on it. I've got all this power flow exhaust. Show you my captain's call back here on the back. I'll just spin it around. Yeah, back here on the back, I've got solenoids on here to where I can have the exhaust come out through the outdrive or hit a switch and it'll have a direct straight out the back captain's call exhaust. It's got a 270 Extreme Marine camshaft in it, aluminum intake. Just a little bit of everything. So this ought to be very interesting and very fun in my boat. Should fire this up in the next week or two and get it in the boat here next month or so and be ready for spring. So this is going to be fun. I've done a lot to your car. I've got your headliner in. I've refinished the headliner. I took and did some measuring while I was in there, and then when I pulled it out, I did a bunch of cutting and whittling to make it fit a little better. Then I redid all the lights in there to make sure they're secure, because I hope they'll never come out again. I talked to Jan about he's doing our interior, about leaving it in and never coming back out, and he said that's fine. So did all that work. I refinished it, and it's in place and it's done. The tail lights, they had to be extended, the brackets and all the work they had to do on the tail lights. Well, I've got most all of that done. The bumper work, I've had to, where the bumper got moved a little bit in the chroming process, I've had to move that back out, refabricate the back brackets, and moving this bumper was an extreme challenge without doing some cutting and welding. It's got a little bit of a spring steel to it. The way it's mounted, it's very difficult to move. But I have got it perfect. It's a perfect 10 millimeter gap all the way around. So I welded in the support in there. That way it'll be shipped with that in there. They'll be able to chrome it with that in there hopefully, and it'll stay exactly where it is. I'll show you these brackets. I redid your brackets. I want those to look factory nice, so it hooks to the Explorer here, then goes to the Woodie. That looks factory nice. I had to fabricate this piece in between here on both of them. And it was in Vegas. I was talking to you about where the landing on the wood for the tail light was not in the right place in relationship to the tail light itself, because that distance has to be an exact distance for this light to have an exact level and stay level as it comes down. So without having to have this wood remade and all that, I just added to this bar right here 3/4 of an inch, and actually put it up. I actually cut it in two, put it up there, put both of this right at the most premium spot, and then took that measurement and then did that twice, and it made both of them exactly perfect. I'm going to do a little bit of work down here at the wood where it clears that back panel, but so far so good on that. All right, now on the inside of the tailgate here, I'm working on the arms. I've got to redo the arms where the body went down and the floor came up when I did this build. It's got the floor height in a way to where it hits the hinge, the arm I mean, and binds it all up. And the way the back is now, I have to stop it at a different spot. So I have to do all that with these links, and it's got to be exact. So I've got them just tack welded in, and so far so good on that. These ends right here, they're not available. but originally it was just a machine eye bolt. And I've fabricated you 2 of them. Alright, up front here I'm taking advantage of it being all together. So now I can inspect everything as I take it apart and see if anything's rubbing, needs a gasket or whatever. Move the metal. I'm going to do the same on the chrome. Any of the chrome that fits real nice, I'm going to go ahead and box and put up. If it needs a little adjustment, I'm going to try to make an adjustment without damaging the chrome. And then if it does happen to damage the chrome a little, we'll just send it back with this trip and get it fixed. Because I really don't want that chrome taking that paint off. I know it touches it in a lot of spots, but we'll just keep that to a minimum. So, all right, Bruce, all that went well. All those front end parts, I got all those off and got them bag tagged, labeled. As everything got tore down, I made notes if it needs a different kind of screw or it needs a seal or whatever it needed in that area, and made notes of it on the table, and then the rest of it's been stored. So then I worked on your hood a little bit. Your hood had a little more of a crown than the fenders had on both sides, so I had to bring that down. That was a little bit difficult because of the way the edge of this hood is made and the way this hood kind of freestands with no supports in it. So I gingerly worked that down on both sides, and I got that done now. I just got your door return springs in and the bolt from Craig for the rear hatch arm, and it is in outstanding condition. And these are in good shape. You know, they're original ones, so we'll see how they do when they get under a load. But they look okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these in right quick, then I'm gonna get back on this tailgate, then I'm gonna get inside. Still waiting on the instrument cluster. It kind of holds me up because I can't really put any powder. I won't put any powder on the car while I've got all that out. And I've still got the headliner disconnected, so I don't know where that box will go. So there's a lot of stuff I can't do until I get that new cluster in, so I can find a home for the one out of the Explorer. It's got to go up under there. I've got to lengthen the wires, and it's going to be up under there for good. So got to wait on that. So I'll just start knocking out stuff that I can go ahead and knock out until it gets here. All right, Bruce, this spring job's changed quite a lot. As I was installing these springs, this metal for some reason is so fragile it just breaks and snaps. So the retainers for it snapped, and I was trying to engineer it in a spot to where it would hold, but in that location it wasn't strong enough. It just kept being a mess. So I went out to the car, and the car actuators are a little bit different. They're a lot shorter, but it was a lot quicker for me to extend these, so I extended both of these, and now I have a mirror image of the one that goes in the Woodie. You can never tell the difference, and they're in good shape. They're tight, the springs are good, way better than what we got there. So I just cleaned these up. I've already cut and extended them, cleaned these up, put these in, and that'll be working like a champ. I'm working on the back of your car now, and your hatch, and I'm still working on your arms, and it's kind of evolved into more stuff here. So I started taking the back of the car down. The bumper needs nothing, so and I made sure everything about it was working good, and it has been taken off and put up and stored. The splash between the bumper and the valance there, it's good. I'm fixing to take it off and store, or well, it'll actually get body work, so it needs to go back in the paint booth where I've already got a pile of stuff ready for prep. Then the valance, I'm going to try to move around a little bit to do a little more clearancing on the tailgate, because the way the arms have to be made, every bit of this has to be in an exact location, and to do that I have to do a little work on your tailgate. So I'm going to go ahead and pull your wood back off, and I can fit it later. The hinge here, I've got a problem with this hinge, so when the tailgate arms come down, they've got to kind of tighten up and strike against the gate on these bushings right here, and I'm trying to make that all work out good. But your hinge is so worn, and the way it kind of cams over, the way your tailgate goes past the 90, those pivot points kind of cam over, and it pushes on this, and it's creating problems. The hinge is wore out. It's just a square spring hinge, so it's got a spring in it that helps it lift, and in doing all that and striking the arms and all that needs to happen, the slack in this square spring pivot right here is wore to a point where it's making it touch the tailgate. So what's going to happen is when I do all this paint work and get this finished, every time the tailgate opens and closes, it's going to scratch the paint off right there. I have to move all this to get it exactly where it needs to be, and that's a good advantage of having this all together at one time. I can see how this stuff's going to work. So back to the hinge, I'm going to have to tighten this up or change it or do something different. That is quite a strong spring in there, and that was on there for the spare tire being mounted on the back of it. and help lift it up. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all this apart and see how worn it is, see if I can tighten this up a little bit. If I can tighten this up a little bit and clean that up, that'll be the quickest, easiest method. The hinge itself is pitted from all the rust, so it'll have to be skimmed with something and blocked and all that, because you will see it. So a little more work to be done on this hinge, but I've got to get the hinge locked down so that I can get the arms made, so I can get all that done. Then I can put the wood back on it, and then when all that's done, it'll fit and strike like it should. All right, Brooks, I hope that gets us caught up a little bit on the videos. Wish I shot a little bit more, but just so busy when I got back, it's been wide open. But this is rolling on good. Rearview safety, sent out the rearview mirror. I'm working on your inner panels here. I'm going to make these removable, so I've got to drill and mount these up there with seals on them. It's going to make us easier to deal with that wood when I start putting the wood on. Also, I have a couple of speakers, 4 speakers in there, be made into these, and that'll all be removable and be way better. Got your notes on everything. As I take it down, any part I need or anything I've got to work on, put on the notes. Tailgate here, and let me show you around the car. All right, Bruce, let's do a quick little walk around here. Got all your chrome off the front. Everything's been final fit. Anywhere there's a little tag you see needs a little work, but I'll do that as I tear it down. I'm pretty sure much done in there. The hood on the other side was arched a little more, and I had to take some of that arch out, and that was very delicate in the way that hood was made, and got that out. I made some marks here. I need to raise the back of that hinge just a little bit before I tear it down. I've already got your front wheels off, working on making the hubcaps fit real nice, and I'm going to build you inner splashes under there, and I'll be done under there. I've got the handles redone. Took the car ones and bits and pieces and custom made these, and they work perfectly now. So, and inside here I got this headliner all in place. I had it all fit in there, marked it all, pulled it out, cut everything to make it all fit better so that all the slots were perfect. Then redid all the light on the back for securing it and stuff, and then cleared it, and it's beautiful. Down here on the floor, these are the end panels that go up there. I still got to finish those out, but I'm waiting on instrument cluster before I tear all this down. So hadn't got your lights and stuff wired yet, because I need my Explorer instrument cluster first, and then I'll mount it up under there. Then I'll mount this stuff on top of it and work my way out. But our new classic instrument, custom-made instrument cluster is going to look great. So still got to make the little piece for the air conditioner. That's no big deal. I'm trying to get to the point where I can get this wood off here and start fitting that wood, and then it'll be time to paint. This is what I was talking about with this hinge. It's a square spring hinge, and that helps support and lift it when it has the tire on it. I wish it was round. It would take a lot more of the slack out of this. But you can see, if you can see in the camera how much slack's in that. And that's let my tailgate move around, and I need to get that out of it. So I'm gonna pull this out and see what I can do to tighten this up, because this is the foundation of everything. I've got to have this piece in great working shape, lock it down, then make everything from that. This slack is making my right arm that I'm working on move enough to where the arm isn't working right. So I'm gonna get this fixed and then get back on those arms. All right, Bruce, this went pretty quick. I just took the hinge apart, and then I hammered on my anvil there and just dotted all those back around. They'd kind of just spread up a little bit, and it tightened it up way better. So I'm doing a test fit on the first one I did, and you see that's a pretty good fit right there. So I'm gonna put it all back together and then see how it does. Just got off the phone with Ron from Classic Instruments, and we're moving forward on these gauges, and this is gonna be extremely nice. I'm gonna send him pictures of this the clock you've got here, and he's gonna use the same font and color that's in the clock to match the your cluster tube. So it'll be in the same font and same color, and then the lighting inside that's going to be the same lighting in this, so the backlights will be the same. Then he's taking the LED readout out of the Explorer Instruments cluster. He's going to mount it right here where the mileage is in this. So now when you get in here, you'll see the LED readout of the mileage. It'll read the tire pressure in the tires, tell you if any of the tires are low. It'll tell you if the right door's open, left door's open. All that stuff will be in that LED readout. Then he's going to go in there and put in the indicator lights for all of it, and he's going to print the image and then backlight it. So when you turn your air on, it'll look like a snowflake, and when you turn on your traction control, it'll look like tires spinning. And check engine light will be a little check engine light come up. and there's going to be a custom-made, one-off custom-made instrument control for this thing. So that's sweet. So I'm going to yank all this apart, get this out, send a picture of the front and back of it, and then we'll get this cluster made, and can't wait to see it. So I got this in pretty good shape now. Now when you open this hinge all the way up, right, it's not touching at all. Every one of them is the same distance away from the paint, and there's enough room where they're not touching. So I'm going to put it right there. I've got to make a little spacer for it right here that'll have to stay in there to raise that corner up. Then I rolled all those over just a little bit, tightened up that hinge, and I think that's pretty good on that hinge. So let me get this little piece made, put on here, and then I'll start putting this all back on and squaring it up, making the arms and all that stuff.